So it was many years ago. I was a child, and many people thought I shouldn't see it, but it was the darkest times, and it was the darkest eyes, and he turned to me and said maybe I shouldn't watch this film. To which I replied, "Said I could watch it." Ladies and gentlemen, Halloween. Um, No, no, it's March, but it's actually St. Patrick's Day as I'm recording this, which is quite ironic given the first one I saw was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, given the Neolithic Celtic paganism of that film that we reviewed in an earlier episode. But yes, this is it. The Halloween. I didn't see this from 1978. I'd have been two. Even if it had been on a screen in my presence, I simply wouldn't remember it. Yes, I want you to remember that fact. Those of you who went, see Star Wars in the cinema when it was just released. No, I'm 48 in May. No, no, you didn't. So this I saw probably to late 80s. I'm probably about 15 at this point. May well have been a TV one. My main memory of seeing it the first time I did was I'd had the problem of seeing the films that had come after. I've seen Freddy, which is really at this point, certainly by Nightmare on Elm Street 4, just a full-on fantasy flick with pretty good special effects and no plot. Jason had risen from the grave again, um, and again and again. He hadn't. That wasn't really until Friday the 13th Part 6, but I had seen that film as well with the little post credit that became the franchise. So when I first saw this film, I was pretty disappointed. It's just a slasher after all. There's nothing supernatural about it. There's a sort of coda at the end, but he's just a really buff guy. Um, there's no real motivation to any of it. And really, I didn't like the kids either because I was an unpopular kid at school. Watching it now, though, yeah, absolutely works, absolutely rocks. Can totally see what I had missed in the film at the time. For those who The film starts with this flashback here to Michael Myers in the residence as a child, um, silently, and we are complicit in it through the views put on this film in killing his sister. We then flash forward, as it were, to present day 1978, where Laurie Strode and her friends are getting ready for prom. They're having the usual prom stories and a very sort of Grease, tell me more. Who's going to be in the back of the car? Who's just going to be smack at it? Who's going to be beauty school dropout? And is Laurie going to be able to get into college while being a babysitter? This all makes perfect sense, and then Myers just drops in and kills people at random. Donald Pleasance gives a certain sense of gravitas and sense to it, and actually does help by having some sort of logistics to it. We don't have an elemental force in Michael at this point. We have an inmate, a lunatic who has escaped an asylum. His ability to kill people is as much by happenstance as anything else. I would say that watching it now, I totally missed the suspense of it, totally missed the pacing of it. I think that my viewing environment wouldn't have been great for it. Watching it again, it knows what it is. It's not trying. I think that was the thing. I thought it was trying to be serious when it wasn't. There is a certain tongue in cheek, not least of which with the death expressions on people's faces, um, of shock death that just linger in the camera too long. However, it's more about the absurdity of it, and it is a dark absurdity because John Carpenter's soundscape is immense. It's not just about the doobie dooby doos. He knows how to let a klaxon run on and on. The beeping cars, the silence in between scenes. He knows how to play with tension. It's wonderful to watch. Jamie Lee Curtis, incidentally, is it's often seen as she's the fuddy duddy, the good girl by being the final girl. Not, she's a bit more wry than that. She's very doubting, character, but I think that takes more to act than just being the brash, yeah, whatever that we see in so many other films. The kids themselves at a level of jeopardy. The kids are properly, appropriately brash and just want to watch Luke Skywalker. Um, yes, there's in retrospective the postmodern elements of them watching horror films and sci-fi films because this is Halloween. It's very knowing about the fact that you have come to see a film called Halloween that is a horror film, most likely in the theater on Halloween. It doesn't avoid it. And I just think that it does it really well. The relationship and the rapport, as I mentioned, Donald, the fact that they make sure that it's a small town community by one of the shreddies. Shreddies is incidentally a term coined by Sean Hudson, which I think is fantastic. Give people just enough of a character that you feel sorry when they die. That's what a shreddy is. Being the daughter of a sheriff, it just adds all those little interconnections that go, okay, this is a community, and this is an element that has just wandered into the community. Um, for nothing but utter obliteration. Some stuff doesn't quite gel. Yeah, okay, fine. He's a shark. He's silent. He's Shatner mask. But yet he does go through some impressive theatrics, stealing tombstones, hanging people from the tops of inside of cupboards and stuff that are a bit more, huh? Then, oh, yet there is nothing but menace here. There is nothing but simplicity in what Michael is, which allows the rest of the community to look complex, human, inconsistent, emotional. Definitely one that you need to watch. It's definitely one that bears rewatching. I was reticent to cover it because of what a famous film it is, but I have to try and stick to a certain remit that I have not. I saw the film at that time, hadn't seen it again recently, and frankly, of the franchises, the more latest ones, which return to this timeline universe, whatever you want to say, when Laurie Strode is turning around in Halloween 2018, 2019, and just delivers the line, Jamie Lee Curtis delivers the line, but you can see the complete alpha and omega of Laurie Strode between this, if making sure that my daughter is prepared for all the evils of this world means that she hates me for it. That's a price I'm prepared to take. That sings, and it only sings when you see this. You see, she's not an ingenue, she's just doubting, and she still is able to adapt at the end. Sticking a coat hanger in his eye, it's just harsh and it's dark, but it's fast. It is fast. The idea of whether or not that's the bogeyman. I won't be touching Halloween 2 because I never saw it at the time and I've only recently seen it. I would say that this is currently on Now TV. It's gonna be on late night and there'll always be somewhere watching it. Halloween stands an absolute cut above because it is a genuine slasher from Jason and Freddy. As much as I would probably love revisiting those on a fatty sort of evening where you don't really have to pay attention. This is a film that commands your attention through sound, through shade, and through character. Definitely see it again. It is one you should watch, just not necessarily with your mum. And that's it. Stay tuned for laters.